I'm Mike Sullivan. Do you ever wonder what club you should be chipping with? Sometimes you just have no idea. Should I be using my 7-iron or my pitching wedge? Let's talk about what is the best club to chip with in a certain situation. Winter greens. Talk about chipping. First off, if you can putt it, putt it. Your worst chip is going to be a lot worse than your worst putt. So if you can use the putter, use the putter. But let's talk about club selection, okay? So conventional chip shot, I've got about 5 or 6 feet of fringe that I have to carry the ball over. And then I've got a long way for the ball to roll. So I'm going to hit a chip shot with a club that has got, you know, a somewhat flat face. I'm going to use about a 7-iron here, all right? I'm using a 7-iron because a 7-iron has got a lot less loft than a sand wedge. I'm gonna get up here close, right? Hopefully this isn't blurry or anything, right? So we see a 7-iron loft and a sand wedge loft. The sand wedge is going to hit the ball higher in the air than the 7-iron will. So the sand wedge, because the ball goes up higher, comes down, the ball isn't going to release very much. And I need the ball to roll a long way because we will score better if we keep the ball on the ground. The sooner we get the ball on the ground, the better. One other thing, you may have heard me say this before, the less loft you use, the less skill you need. That's why I love the putter so much. We want to be really, really good at the easiest stuff, okay? But let's look at our 7-iron. It's got a long rollout, so I'm using less loft. I'm going to play the ball a little bit back in my stance. I like to cheat forward my weight a little bit. By the way, this is not the only way to chip. Not the only way. This is the way that I think is best for most people, though. Ball's a little back, weight forward, hands forward, and I'm just going to try to make a putting stroke here. Okay. Not great, not too bad, but we would take that, okay? So now I'm going to try a different target, one that's not as far away. Now I don't have all the holes in the perfect places here, so I'm going to put another target out there. So I'm going to put a head cover out there for a new target. Okay, so now I've got a new target. It's a much closer target. If I use a 7-iron, which I just used earlier, when I carry the ball this 5 or 6 feet onto the fringe, if I hit it hard enough to carry it on there, that ball is going to have a hard time stopping. So I need more loft on this shot. Or I could hit the 7-iron and land it, you know, way back here, but then the fringe is going to impact it. We'd like to land the ball on the green. So I'm going to try more loft. So I'm going to go with a pitching wedge here. Everything else the same. Ball back in my stance, weight forward, hands forward, and just putt it up there. Okay, so there's my pitching wedge going to the head cover. That worked out really well. So I've been through the dilemma of trying to figure out what clubs to use before. We don't have to be exact in this. I'm going to grab a 9-iron and try this shot. So believe it or not, you are good enough to have some feel for what has to happen. So I'll just try the 9 now. Everything else the same. I will line it up. Exact same shot, just less loft. All right, that worked out really well too. So it's not you have to figure, is it the 8-iron or the 7-iron? Is it the pitching wedge or is it the gap wedge? We don't have to get that close. And you could even have like a policy. I'm only going to chip with my odd clubs, or I'm only going to chip with my even clubs to help take some of the indecision out of there, all right? Let's do one closer. We'll go to this big white hole here. So the big white one is going to be requiring even less rollout. So what club would I be using? I'd be using more loft than the pitching wedge. So it's going to be a sand wedge, maybe a lob wedge. I would love to use a 56-degree sand wedge for this one. but everything else is going to be the same. Just going to putt it. Ball back in the stance, weight forward, hands forward, and just putt it. Get in the hole, will you? Ah. All right, I hope that helps. So the more distance that you need that roll to be, the less loft you're going to use. But if you can use a putter, putt it. But if you can't, you may have to chip it. I have to say it one more time. The less loft you use, the less skill you need.